So Patrick, if we play like the Kool in the Gang Celebrate song or something, or we get sued, don't we? If we put this, what if we play like just a little bit of it? Yeah, okay, because this is kind of a celebration, right? The wine's even called Celebration. It says it in big letters. Well, on the back, it says in really big letters. So let's celebrate this wine. We were celebrating when they made this cuvee starting in 2009 because we are huge fans of the Beaune Premier Cru wines from Louis Jadot. Long history going back. This gray hair will tell you that we enjoyed multiple bottles of the 1990 Beaune Premier Crus back in the day. They were one of the single greatest wine values on the planet back then, and nothing had changed for a really long time with regards to that value scenario. We've sold the wines consistently over the last 25 to 30 years. Exquisite value here because, most of Beaune is Premier Cru. The weird thing with Beaune is there's no Grand Cru, right? But like 90% of Beaune is Premier Cru vineyards, with just a small part being village. So you have this wonderful opportunity with this huge, long hillside extending away from the town up into the hills of all these beautiful sites. And the soil's a little richer at the bottom. The soil's a little, little firmer, more limestoney, less topsoil at the top. And you get this wonderful variety of beautiful wines that are fruit forward, right? The whole thing with Beaune as an appellation touch, it's a lot like Volnay, where these wines are really fruit forward, juicy, the term hedonistic, lush, appealing, sexy, whatever dorky wine adjective you want to throw in there, these wines cover it. Now, Jadot makes a whole range of Beaune Premier Cru wines, like we said earlier, top of the line stuff. But what they started in 2009, it was a celebration, it was a historic year for them. In 2009, they came up with this cuvee Celebration. And what it was a blend of basically all their Beaune Premier Cru sites to make one riveting, luscious, hedonistic, fruit-forward, absolutely delicious cuvee of Beaune Premier Cru that they could sell in honor of that celebration. Well, as with all things that are inaugural and take off, this took off. The 09 was a beautiful, smashing wine. Everyone loved it. And basically the whole wine world was like, more, more, more. So winemaker Frederic Barnier was like, I will give you more, but I will give you more when I want to give you more. I.e., let's make this Celebration Cuvée a special wine we don't produce every year. We only produce it in the super rock star years that we think are particularly special with regards to the wines in the Beaune area. Accordingly, they've made 9, they made 12, which was a flattering vintage in that neck of the woods. I think they made 15. They made 18, bam, and they're going to make a 20. So think about it. There's been a lot of good to great vintages that have passed through the doors, in the last 15 years in Burgundy, and they've only made it a handful of vintages. Just to let you know that they're serious about it. 30% new oak on this wine, and the key is not the oak. The key is that yummy fruit, and the fact that you get this wonderful mishmash of terroirs, like I said at the start. And all the terroirs, by the way, are incorporated into the label. You'll see every vineyard site that they have works its way onto the label here, which is really super cool. So even the fancy ones like Clos des Ursouls, bam, right there. So, from the $120 guys down to the, well, probably, Ursouls probably like 140 now or something. And the regular Beaune Premier Crus, by the way, are, we'll get to that in a second, but they're more. All those wines are incorporated into this wonderful mishmash of vineyards to create this super Beaune, this amazing Beaune wine that really is ravishing. I crack one. We don't have enough of these to crack, I don't think. So I'm not going to open one because we don't have a ton of this wine. They don't make a ton of it. But I just wanted to reiterate again that this wine is about pleasure. Will it age 10, 12 years? Of course. We've had great Beaune Premier Cru wines with 20, 25 years on them. No problem, piece of cake. But the key is you can get into this sooner as opposed to later on purpose. If you go through the press, you'll see all these wonderful, engaging, appealing, hedonistic, utterly delicious. I think that might have been Neil Martin's gig, which he doesn't say utterly delicious about too much stuff. But the point gets across quickly. This is one of the greatest, juiciest, fleshiest deals in Burgundy wine today. Multiple 92 plus scores on it every year. And here's the clincher. this super cuvee of Beaune, because of the price increases we've been seeing from Burgundy the last several vintages, is actually cheaper than the standard Beaune Premier Crus that they're releasing right now. I think the 22 vintage Beaune Premier Crus are gonna hit the shelf at a skinny $80, right? So the old days of Beaune being that like honey hole, that secret, value-riddled plot that nobody really knew about except people like us, and we gave it to you and you drank a ton of them, that's all disappearing. Drouhin's Beaune Clos de Mouche is $180. Bouchard Vigne l'Enfant Jésus is $130, $140 now. Things are changing. People have discovered Beaune, and accordingly, those wines have escalated in value. But we made this rockstar deal about a year and a half ago in the European market and cornered a healthy cash, but not too healthy, I wish we had more of it, of this fabulous Beaune Premier Cru for you. $59.98, and look at the Maggies, look at these. Give a big hug. Look at those. That's beautiful, right? 750s in mags, not a ton of mags. What an opportunity to get one of the most joyous, juicy, hedonistic, thrilling, appealing wines in Burgundy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is something certainly to celebrate.